Connecting Central Texas. This is Good Morning Texas.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. It's 6 a.m. now. I'm Joey Horta. And a storm's rolling through. Josh Johns is keeping tabs on that. Josh, what's going on?
Yeah, we're continuing to track this line of thunderstorms that's working across central Texas, Joey. It's not severe at this time, but gusty winds, lightning, maybe even some small hail, all possible with it as it is nearing the I-35 corridor. The strongest piece of this has been in Hill County. This has a little bit of rotation with it near Italy. It's not big enough for tornadoes, but gusty winds possible. And we're getting some reports from viewers of tree limbs down in the Aquila area. Part of that is because this storm is developing a little bit of a twist there. That is bringing some stronger winds on the backside of it. It's probably not tornadic, but some gusty winds likely coming down to that. And that will continue as it works towards Abbott and potentially over towards Bynum as well. There's also hail with this, potentially up to the size of dimes as it's moving through Hill and Bosque County. The stuff that's going to be working into Waco, not severe and not near as defined. So just expect some heavy rain, some lightning with that. Stronger thunderstorms near Lampasas as well, but those are not defined either. And most of these should stay below severe limits, but we'll continue to track it. As far as the rest of the day goes, expect temperatures near the lower 70s.
All right, Josh, thanks for the update there. New this morning, the family and friends sang their final goodbyes to a Fort Hood soldier found dead on post. You're looking at the funeral service for Army Private Ana Bazaldua Ruiz, the young woman receiving full military honors during Tuesday's ceremony in Long Beach, California. The 20-year-old was serving as a combat engineer in the 1st Cavalry Division when she was found dead at Fort Hood. Her family claims that she was the victim of sexual harassment, but the Army says foul play is not a factor. The family planning to take her ashes to Mexico, where her mother lives. The search is on now for the shooter who killed a young man in Waco. Police say 24-year-old Zachary Hughes was killed Monday afternoon after getting into an argument. Officers found him and a woman shot near Bagby and Richter. He died in the hospital. This is the 4th murder in Waco this year. Lacey Lakeview police are on the hunt for a robbery suspect. Take a look. Police say this guy walked into the Dollar General store Tuesday and robbed the cashier. Officers say he was wearing a black hoodie, black shorts, black Crocs, and a mask. If you know anything about this, call police. Well, happening today, UMHB is celebrating their Easter pageant. More than 200 students, faculty, and staff are taking part in this. And 25 News reporter Nakea Simon is live from campus now in Belton with a look at today's performance. Good morning.
Good morning, Joey. This free pageant became a tradition for many Central Texas families and attracts thousands of people each year. The Easter pageant chronicles moments from the Gospels on parts of Jesus' life, which includes his entrance into Jerusalem, his crucifixion, and resurrection. UMHB President Randy O'Rear selects students to play the key roles of Jesus and Mary each year. Senior Nicholas McDaniel shares what an honor it is to play the role of Jesus.
I honestly am so thankful to UMHB because they don't pick people based on a theater background or any skills of that nature. They purely pick based on character and who they feel will best represent the university, and I'm very honored that they thought that to be me.
The pageant is open on a first-come, first-served basis and will only be performed today. It will be located at the Luther Memorial on the UMHB campus. The times are 12:30 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. It is also available online on the UMHB Facebook page and umhb.edu./live. The pageant organizer says that the 5:30 show is usually the most packed, so you want to, if you can, make it to the earlier shows, the 12:30 or the 3 o'clock. And coming up on Good Morning Texas, we'll have more information on how this 84th annual pageant means to the cast and crew. Back to you, Joey.
Thanks, Nakea. The city of Killeen is getting ready to welcome families for Easter as well. The big Easter hunt's happening Thursday at the Killeen Athletic Complex. It starts at 6:30 p.m. They're going to have thousands of Easter eggs for the kids to hunt down. Free photos with the Easter Bunny, food trucks and live music. It is free for the whole family. Don't forget your Easter basket. Central Texas College hosting a community wellness fair today. That's happening from 9 to 1 at the Anderson Campus Center on Central Texas Expressway in Killeen. There will be free health screenings and a blood drive. If you're looking for a job, listen up. The city of Killeen needs you. In 10 minutes, we'll hear from police about today's job fair and how you can prepare for success.
And I'm tracking a line of thunderstorms working through central Texas. The latest on how long this lingers, plus a look at that weekend forecast, is coming up.
Welcome back. Time to find out who's going to win this 25 News mug.
Sure is. And today's winner is Chris Wade. Congratulations, Chris. We'll let you know you can pick up one of these Good Morning Texas mugs.
If you want one too, just go to our website. It's kxxv.com/contest. Click that mug and type in your email address. We'll throw your name into the hat for our next giveaway, which is coming up tomorrow. We want to focus on today, though, because we've got some weather that's going to impact some people as they start things off today.
We do have a line of thunderstorms working through. Now, it's not severe, but already we've had some tree limbs reported down in Aquila and Hill County, and we're likely seeing some gusty winds, some lightning all along this line. So need to be prepared for that as you're heading out the door this morning for that morning commute. Extra time on the morning commute and both hands on the wheel if you're getting out on the roads this morning. Plenty of room between you and the car in front of you. Live Radar Network shows you that line that is working through the area. Now, the strongest thunderstorms have been in Hill and Bosque County. This one right here near Italy was showing signs of rotation. Looks like that has gone away, but it is still producing gusty winds rolling into Rivera County. And then this little core right here that's pulling into west now. See how this filled in real quick? That's a sign we had some gusty winds come across southern Hill County that came out of that thunderstorm. That's likely what caused that damage of the tree limbs there in Aquila. But again, this is not severe, just gusty winds and some lightning, even some small hail with that as well. You can see the hail sizes showing up. They've gone down, but this is still a pretty potent thunderstorm moving through. What's going to be working into McLennan County here is actually non-severe thunderstorms and not even really thunderstorms at all. That's mainly heavy rain that's moving through. Could produce some lightning this morning. Also, that heavy rain falling over Gatesville, flat on down into Lampasas, Killeen. You're now getting some of this heavier rain too. That's going to continue moving through. But notice this green line that's advancing out ahead of it. That is our cold front. As long as the storms are behind that, we won't see any sort of tornadic situations or severe weather is very low with that. Meanwhile, we're watching a developing thunderstorm here near Cameron. That's ahead of the line. So that will bear watching as it works northeast. If it happens to pop through, tap into some of that greater instability where things have been untouched, then we may have to watch it for a severe threat with that. But this line continues moving east. Could roll into Waco here pretty soon, close to Temple by around 7 o'clock. And then to our eastern counties after around 8:30. Clark Roofing Cam giving you a view to the west. Remember, I said the part rolling into Waco, not as electric. That's why we don't see as many lightning strikes. Temperatures in the mid-70s currently. There is a chance we see a severe thunderstorm today, especially over our northern counties where you saw those gustier winds already. But overall, I think the threat rather low. If anything can tap into it, though, golf ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds will be possible. That line of thunderstorms will continue progressing across the area. Future tracks moving at a bit too fast, but know the general consensus is that this will be out of here after lunchtime, if not before. And then the rest of the day should be rather quiet, though a couple of thunderstorms may be possible. No widespread thunderstorms, at least until we get into Thursday and Friday. That's when better rain chances will work in. And with that, we could even see some multi-inch rain totals setting up Thursday on into Friday. It'll be cool Friday, too. Temperatures in the mid-50s. We're in the 60s and 70s Easter weekend with quiet weather, and then close to 80 next week, Joey.
All right, Josh. The Help Wanted sign is up in Killeen. A police officer just walked into the studio. I don't know, Josh, did you get a ticket or something? Hope it wasn't me. We're going to talk about job opportunities to join the force when we come back. 6:15 now. Let's get another check on the weather. This storm system pushing through our area this morning. Josh, where is it at now?
Yeah, moving right to the I-35 corridor. So Waco Temple Killeen is knocking on the doorstep here as it's moving off to the east. The heaviest part of this thunderstorm, though, moving into parts of Rivera, Hill County. This is where we've seen gusty winds already reported from viewers in Aquila. Lots of lightning with that. Heavy rain moving into the city of Waco right now. That means that your morning commute is going to be wet. Killeen, you're getting heavy rain now. That's going to be moving into Belton and Temple shortly. The good news is this front out ahead of it is going to tamper any sort of severe weather threat with that, and some heftier rain over towards Lampasas as well. This entire line is moving off to the east. We're watching this little rogue thunderstorm popping ahead of it. We'll have to monitor that because it has access to more instability, so we'll watch that, and we'll track you through the rest of that 10-day forecast later on in the newscast.
We'll check back with you. Thank Josh. It's 6:15 now, and a Help Wanted sign is up in Killeen. They have a job fair happening today. The police department is one of those departments that will be on hand to answer your questions and do some on-site interviews today. Killeen Police Officer Devontae Johnson here to tell us all about it. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Great to have you with us today.
Glad to be here.
I'm not in trouble, right?
No, sir.
Okay, just
No,
want to
sir.
get that out there. Clear that up.
Yes.
But on a serious note, you guys have some exciting job opportunities.
Absolutely.
In your department specifically.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
So those jobs that we currently have open are going to be for jail, communications, as well as secretaries. All of those play a vital role in what we do and how we function as a department. Coming soon, starting July, we will also have the application open for police officer.
Awesome. And you say communications, we're talking about like 911 call center?
Yes,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
it's really an exciting place if you've ever had a chance to get into one. I did recently in Waco, and it's just calls off the hook all the time.
Yes.
And so what kind of person are you looking for to handle a job like that?
Well, a person, that's well with stress, a person that can multitask and are very able to function in various different positions that, the police officer, that the officers would need in the capacity of getting information, gathering information, and disseminating that information to the officer that's responding to whatever call for service that the call taker takes in.
Let's talk about salary here and the pay for these positions. What can you tell us?
So right now for our jailers and communications, they're right at about the $19.75 a mark per hour. Obviously, for our police officers, that starting salary is going to be $57,889. So it's pretty good and very competitive compared to some of the similar agencies in the area. So all of the equipment is paid for, as well as all the training.
Growing up, so many kids want to be a cop.
Yes.
Were you one of those kids?
I was one of those kids.
And so what was it like when you finally got to put the badge on?
When I finally got the badge on, it was like a sense of pride. Definitely something to not be taken lightly.
Yeah.
And just for my life, just the calling of service. I've always wanted to serve. I did my time in the military, got out, and joined the police department. So being an officer is still a noble profession. And every day I come to work, I'm thriving to do what can I do to better the community. And I believe that so far in my career, I think I've done that. And I'm looking to see what I can do more and also get those individuals who have that same passion to do the same thing.
All right. Tell us the details on the job fair. Who, what, when, where?
The job fair is going to start today at 10 o'clock at 3600 South W.S. Young Drive at the Killeen Civic Center and Conference Center. It's going to be featured by our HR department. Going to have several different departments for job vacancies around the city. And that's going to start at 10 o'clock today.
Okay. Be there, be square.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you stopping
Absolutely.
by. We'll be right back. .622, historic moments in Manhattan during former President Donald Trump's first court appearance on dozens of charges. He's accused of falsifying business documents. 25 News Washington correspondent Joe St. George there live again from New York City this morning. And Joe, good morning. What do we know now about the indictment, against the former president? And if he was convicted, could he actually end up in jail?
Yeah, a lot of questions there. The answer about the jail time question is yes, it's possible. If you look at the 34 felony counts in New York, that certainly is a possibility. Although in practical terms, it's rare that a white-collar case like this, a defendant would, if a guilty verdict would be rendered, that the judge would issue jail time for a first-time offender. Really yesterday, though, there were a couple things that struck me, right? The imagery from yesterday and the indictment from yesterday. Let's start with the indictment, which was revealed for the first time. This is a graphic I think we can show up from the statement of facts, which is really detailing what the Manhattan District Attorney has. The District Attorney saying, in part, the catch and kill scheme is a phrase that you're going to want to familiarize yourself with. That is what this is really about. It's less about an adult film actress, more about business transactions, and an accusation that during and in furtherance of his candidacy for president, the defendant and others agreed to identify and suppress negative stories about him. Now, Joey, that's not a crime for a politician to want to keep a bad story out of the press. That happens all the time in American politics. But if business records were falsified to cover that up, to keep that payment quiet, That is what Manhattan District Attorney believes is a crime, is a felony in the state of New York. And finally, to the imagery from yesterday, powerful to see the former president stoically walk in the courtroom after having his fingerprints taken, sitting there at that table, listening to a judge. We weren't able to have live video of the hearing, but if you read the transcription, it was very clear who was in control in that courtroom. It was the judge. It wasn't the former president, which is something you just don't see. And the former president spoke about a dozen words yesterday. Ultimately, the most powerful thing he said was the plea he entered, which was not guilty.
So powerful too, Joe, and unprecedented to see those two court officers standing behind Trump, sitting there as a defendant on a criminal trial. When would we see him back in court again?
I think a lot of people were surprised that the next scheduled hearing isn't taking place until early December. That is a ways away. It's early April. There's a good chance that Mr. Trump's legal team will want another hearing before then, so we should take that with a grain of salt. If we're talking, though, about December for next hearing, that sets up a hypothetical trial in early 2024. Oh, by the way, the Iowa caucuses are in February of 24. So this isn't going to be in the heart of the Republican nominating calendar as they try to see if Mr. Trump's going to be the nominee in 2024 again or not. I think it's important really to note, though, that if you're talking to a legal expert, whether they're in Texas or whether they're up here in New York, they'll describe this indictment and what Mr. Bragg is attempting to convict Mr. Trump of as being, quote, novel. Well, novel's code word for there isn't a whole lot of legal precedent for what Mr. Trump has been charged with. And it's very possible at the end of all of this that Mr. Trump and his legal team could secure a not guilty verdict. It's difficult to convict former politicians, former elected officials in our country. Yes, it happens, but in many times, former politicians are able to ultimately be found not guilty, even though they have been indicted.
What are we hearing now, Joe, about how he's reacting to this? So many people saying that Trump will use this as a point to talk about during his campaign.
Absolutely. This indictment of him, and there's likely going to be more. If you look at what the Fulton County District Attorney in Georgia is doing, we could be talking about an indictment in Georgia in the coming weeks and months. It's pretty clear that Mr. Trump's going to frame his run for the presidency not just about Joe Biden, not just about the wall. It's going to be about the establishment legal class in our country. And again, it would be a campaign unlike any other. One thing to wrap real quick, the judge has warned Mr. Trump's legal team, essentially for the former president to be careful on social media. The judge doesn't want any inciting of violence to occur.
All right, Joe St. George live from New York City this morning. Joe, thank you as always. Half past the hour now this morning, and the rain is coming down. Let's get to Josh for the latest on that.
Yeah, we're tracking this line of storms that's moving across central Texas. Joey, not severe. We have had some gusty winds out of it, but nothing that's reached severe levels. And the strongest part of that storm actually rolled through Hill County. That's where we had a couple tree limbs down in parts of Aquila. We still have some heftier thunderstorms moving into eastern Navarre County. Some of that producing a little bit of hail too, but not too bad. And then over here into McLennan County, we're now getting that heavier rain working into Waco. You can hear it, or we can hear it rather, falling on our building on the south side of town. So it is out there, and now working into Bell County as well, from Killeen over through Lake Belton into Temple, that heavier rain moving through, even down into Burnett County as well. We're monitoring this shower or thunderstorm, trying to develop out ahead of it. If that happens to continue to build, we may have to watch it. It could turn stronger, but right now it's struggling. And part of the reason these aren't severe is you see this thin green line working through Bell County. That's that line of the cool air coming out from the thunderstorms, and as long as that's ahead of it, our tornado threat is low. Now, I don't anticipate that being an issue. That track is old, so let's put a new one on it as it is working off to the east at around 35 miles per hour. We'll draw that track here from Corsicana down through Waco, Temple, and Killeen, pulling it off to the east. That will pull it into Marlin, closer to around 711 Groesbeck, 723 Fairfield, 741 Franklin by around 8:30 and could work into Centerville by around 8:45. So these storms continuing to pull off to the east. They're bringing some beneficial rain too. Some heftier rain falling right now over the Clark roofing cam in South Waco. You can see the wet roadways. You need to give yourself some extra time on that morning commute if you are heading out and about. And yes, one or two of these could turn strong to severe, but the further we get into the morning, I think the lower that severe risk becomes. That line of thunderstorms continues to pull off to the east. I think it's out of here before lunchtime for all of central Texas. Should be drier in the afternoon, though we could see some thunderstorms overnight. As we get into tomorrow, those rain chances really tick up, and they'll be around not only tomorrow but also into Friday. Could get some multi-inch rainfall totals going through Friday. Friday will also be cooler with temperatures in the mid-50s. And look at next week. We're dry for Easter. Could be close to 80 for much of next week, Joey.
Look at that windmill going there.
Yeah, there you go. Right behind the Easter egg.
Yeah. We'll be right back, folks.
Connecting Central Texas. This is Good Morning Texas.
6:32 now, really coming down out there as we wake up this morning. Josh Johns is keeping track of the activity that we've got on the radar this morning. Josh, what's going on?
The good news is no severe weather right now, although we have had some gusty winds roll through. Some tree limbs down in Aquila. We do have some heavy rain working across the area along with frequent lightning. The heftiest part of these thunderstorms moving into Navarre County, moving out of Hill County. Still some heavy rain, though, over Hill County to the southeast of Hillsborough towards Hubbard. Could see some gusty winds out of that as well. We're also seeing some heavy rain working through Waco. We can hear this falling on our building on the south side of town. And even into Bell County, some moderate to heavy rain working in. See this thin line working ahead? That's good news. That means the cold air is out ahead of these thunderstorms, which means we are not going to see them turn severe as they roll into Bell and also McLennan County. We'll have to watch to see if anything can bop ahead of it. Something was trying to there near Rosebud, but that's even struggling. So I think our severe threat today is going to be on the low side. I really don't see much of that happening here as we go through the morning. Rain chances will slowly tick down as we go through the day. Temperatures actually take a dip into the 60s here today. Could even see temperatures in the upper 60s even through the afternoon. I'll have a look at the rest of that 10-day forecast coming up.
Okay, Josh, thank you. New this morning, family and friends saying their final goodbyes to a Fort Hood soldier found dead on post. You're looking now at the funeral service for Army Private Ana Bazaldua Ruiz, a young woman receiving full military honors at Tuesday's ceremony in Long Beach, California. A 20-year-old serving as a combat engineer for the 1st Cavalry Division when she was found dead at Fort Hood. Her family claims she was the victim of sexual harassment. But the Army says foul play is not a factor. The family now planning to take her ashes to Mexico, where her mother lives. Well, search is on for the shooter who killed a young man in Waco this week. Police say 24-year-old Zachary Hughes died Monday afternoon after getting into an argument. Officers found him and a woman shot near Bagby and Richter. He died at the hospital. This is the 4th murder in Waco this year. Lacey Lakeview police are on the hunt now for a robbery suspect. Take a look here. Police say this guy walked into the Dollar General Tuesday morning and robbed the place. Officers say that he was wearing a black hoodie, black shorts, black Crocs, and a mask. If you know anything about this, call police. 6:34 now. Farmers play a crucial role. Without them, you wouldn't have any food. You'd have to grow your own, but it's a risky business to get into. According to the USDA, the average age of a farmer is about 60 years old. Now the Farm Bureau is trying to find ways to make their industry more attractive to the next generation, but they are facing a lot of challenges.
There's people out there that want it and want to participate in it and want to go forward with the opportunity to be able to do it. But it's the accessibility of being able to do it on a large level.
The cost of land and all the high-tech farming equipment keeps going up. It can be a big risk for those who didn't inherit a farm to get started out. Slayton Holster is a first-generation farmer who says the risk paid off for him. He understands why others might think twice before becoming a farmer.
It's always changing. Everything's going up more. I think that's why we see not near as many young farmers get involved with it unless they can take over from their dad's operation who started small and worked their way up. But you're not just going to jump in a big operation.
Tonight at 6, an in-depth look at what new farmers are facing and why some say it is worth the risk. Happening today, UMHB is celebrating their Easter pageant. More than 200 students, faculty, and staff taking part in this. And 25 News reporter Nakea Simon has a look ahead at today's performance.
In an open field, welcoming all who joined them for an Easter celebration. University of Mary Hardin-Baylor students gathered one last time to perfect a show that has been a part of the Central Texas community for decades.
And it really helps us share the gospel with our community, with our students, and really with the world around us.
But for these students, it is a time to share a monumental moment.
It's all student run, and we're just all excited to be here, all volunteers.
Nicholas McDaniel was casted as Jesus by the university president. He shares what an honor it is to be chosen for such an important role.
I'm so thankful to UMHB because they don't pick people based on a theater background or any skills of that nature. They purely pick based on character and who they feel will best represent the university, and I'm very honored that they thought that to be me.
And his time reflecting on the story and teachings of Jesus Christ.
Humble myself around my peers, but also to love people and actually try my best to live the life Jesus led, knowing that I can't be perfect, but I can live by his example and be that for other people.
And the historical figures from the gospel that led up to Jesus' resurrection.
And I feel like that's one of the most beautiful things, is that it's not Nick's show, it's not my show, it's not Katie's show or Mike's. It's all of ours together, and it's the Lord's show that we get to just be vessels for him moving, and we get to do it together.
Nakea Simon reporting. The pageant is open on a first-come, first-served basis and will only be performed today. It's happening at the Luther Memorial on the UMHB campus. There are 3 shows, 12:30, 3, and 5:30. All 3 performances are free and open to the public. The city of Killeen is getting ready to welcome families for Easter as well. The big Easter hunt is happening Thursday at the Killeen Athletic Complex. It starts at 6:30 p.m. There will be thousands of eggs for the kids to hunt, free photos with the Easter Bunny, food trucks, and live music. It's free for all, and don't forget your Easter basket. Central Texas College hosting a community wellness fair today. That's happening from 9 to 1 at the Anderson Campus Center on Central Texas Expressway in Killeen. They will have free health screenings and a blood drive. If you're looking for a job, you're in luck. The city of Killeen is hiring. In 6 minutes, we'll hear from Killeen Police about the job opportunities there. Stay with us. It is 20 minutes until the top of the hour, and the storm is having an impact on us here today. What's going on now?
Yeah, we have some reports of power outages now in Hill, Bosque County, 2,100 without power in Hill County, and 1,600 or just over 1,600 without power in Bosque County. It looks like Laguna Park got some of the heavier winds earlier that knocked out some of the power there in Hill and Bosque County. So already a little bit of damage from these storms that are moving through.
Yikes, yeah, going to slow some people down as they try to get to work today.
Just a little bit, yeah. And you need to be careful on the roads if you are getting out there. A lot of slick roadways this morning, still dealing with some gusty winds and some lightning as these storms are moving through. Now, the good news is, despite the fact we have a couple of power outages, it's not severe. You can see those thunderstorms that are moving through. They're rather strong coming into Navarre County. That is a pretty good beefy thunderstorm about to roll into Corsicana with some gusty winds. Same with that one there in Hill County, moving on into McLennan County. You can see those thunderstorms are pushing through from Hubbard back down through West Elmont, Waco, getting some heavier rain as well, but no severe thunderstorms with that activity. Also into Bell County, some of this heavier rain that's working through. You notice that thin green line that's pulling out here. That is actually the colder air ahead of these thunderstorms, so that is actually going to keep these below severe limits as they are working through Bell County. Good news there. We were watching to see if one could pop ahead of this main line. Sometimes you get that to happen. You can get a stronger thunderstorm to do so, but that one struggled to, so that is good news. We'll put a track on this entire line of thunderstorms so you know when it's working into your neighborhood, as it is moving off to the east at about 35 miles per hour. This line stretching from Corsicana back down to Temple and Killeen, so you pull that off to the east. That will take it towards Chilton by around 7 o'clock. Groesbeck around 7:30. Cameron 8 o'clock. Calvert just after 8 o'clock. Franklin by 8:23. And Centerville by 8:54 as this continues pulling off to the east. So that's an old track that just popped up, but you can see that line of thunderstorms is working through. And this is what's left in its wake in Waco. Plenty of slick roadways this morning. Lots of rain still coming down. Again, give yourself some extra time on that morning commute. There is still a chance one or two of these turn severe, but The good news is with that wind rushing out of it, that's kind of cutting off the warm air from these thunderstorms. So I think we'll see a general weakening trend, though they could still produce gusty winds as they move into our eastern counties. Now, all this activity should be out of here by lunchtime. Could see a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, still with the north winds around. That brings in the cooler air behind our cold front, so we'll be stuck in the lower 70s. Cloud cover continues to build in overnight, and we'll see more showers build in Thursday on into Friday as this front actually stalls out to our south. That will lead to multiple rounds of rain building in, and some of them could produce some multi-inch rain totals. So we're talking about some beneficial rainfall on the way. And more importantly, with temperatures in the 50s and the 60s, that rain that comes Thursday and Friday will not be severe. Even better, it's all out of here in time for Easter weekend. 74 coming up for Sunday, and then we're looking at upper 70s and lower 80s heading on into next week with partly cloudy skies. May have to watch for some isolated thunderstorms for the second part of next week.
All right, Josh, tragedy strikes in North Texas. In 7 minutes, a deadly accident involving a child and a gun that police say could have been prevented. 6:45 now. The Help Wanted sign is up in Killeen. They've got a job fair today, and right now we've got Officer Devontae Johnson with us to tell us all about some exciting opportunities. Very nice to have you with us today.
Oh, nice to be with you.
You've been here before, and you had great info then and again, because it's so many people looking for a job, right?
Absolutely.
Tell us about the jobs you have available in the police department.
So in the police department, we currently have positions for jailers, communications, as well as senior secretaries. All of those positions obviously play a vital role in the overall mission of the police department, because where we have vacancies in those positions, we have to fill them with officers, and we would much rather have those officers out on the road taking your calls for service.
And you have other departments within the city that are also hiring. What do you know about that?
Yes, so there will be several other departments there. There will be the IT department, Parks and Recreation, Solid Waste, even our counterparts, or should I say brothers and sisters for the fire department, will also be at the job fair today.
Okay, great career opportunities
Absolutely.
here. And what do we know about the pay range?
The pay range I can speak for on the police department is, at least for our police officers, the starting pay is at $57,889, and that pay increases upon graduation from the academy. Our civilian sector, they start at $18 and $19.75 an hour for the different positions between jail and communications, as well as our secretaries. And the other departments offer their other salaries as well as their competitive benefits as well.
What's your typical day like as a police officer in one of these roles that you have open now for patrol officers?
Absolutely. So a typical day for the patrol officer is that they arrive to work. They usually start off with a briefing, getting all the information about what happened over the past 12 hours before they come on. Once they get done with briefing, they then load up their cars and log into their data terminal and begin taking calls for service and responding to the individual calls that the citizens have placed in.
All right, that's going on today from 10 to 2.
Yes.
And it is at the Civic and Conference Center in Killeen. You can just show up.
Just show up.
Get an interview.
Get an interview.
Hey, you can't beat that.
Can't beat that.
We thank you for coming in, officer.
Absolutely.
Have a great day out there, and we'll be right back. Let's get a check on the weather now. I know we got to hang on to that umbrella this morning, Josh.
Yeah, we really do. These heavy showers continuing to work through, some thunderstorms as well, and this has gusty winds with it. Now, none of this severe, that is the good news, but we have already had reports of tree limbs down the Aquila area and power outages in parts of Hill and Bosque County, especially in Laguna Park, where that strongest part of the storm worked through. Now the strongest part over parts of Corsicana, Hubbard, the stuff over Waco right now, not severe, just some very heavy rain falling at times. Same in Bell County, so give yourself some extra time on that morning commute. It stretches down to Williamson, so no matter where you go in Central Texas, you're getting in on these showers and these thunderstorms this morning. This is the first of many rain chances we have on the way. Your 10 days coming up in just a bit.
Okay, we'll see you then, Josh. Thank you. It is 6:50, and around Texas, a Houston area woman now accused of stabbing her fiance to death with 2 of their kids in the same room at the time. 25-year-old Liliana Cervantes is behind bars. Police say she killed Nathan Freeman last month at their apartment in Clear Lake City. They've got a 6-month-old daughter together and were planning to get married this fall. Cervantes told police she blacked out during the stabbing. Officers found the butcher knife and bloody fingerprints inside the apartment. Autopsy shows she was Rather, he was stabbed 3 times. His family can't believe it.
My husband and I went and visited them for Thanksgiving this last year, and they seemed perfectly happy. I mean, they had just moved into the apartment that they were at, and I mean, we went to her parents' house for Thanksgiving dinner, and I thought it went great. You know, I mean, we had a great time.
The couple's little kids are now staying with the suspect's family. There is a GoFundMe account to help cover funeral expenses. Another Texas family grieving after their 2-year-old accidentally shoots and kills himself. Police in Arlington say it happened Tuesday. Little Rio Carrington found the gun in his older sibling's room, accidentally shot himself in the face. When officers arrived, they found the boy's mom holding him.
Arriving on scene and seeing a child with a gunshot wound to the face is disheartening. It's mentally draining, emotionally draining, and just an overall just bad situation.
Detectives trying to figure out how the gun got into that house. At this point, no charges have been filed. Police say it's another tragic reminder to gun owners to lock up their guns, especially if there are kids in the house. Senate lawmakers now giving preliminary approval to a bill that would defund public libraries where drag performers read to kids. This bill targets all drag queens' story hours, which are aimed at encouraging kids to read. The bill's author brought up the example of the Houston Public Library accidentally hosting a registered sex offender as evidence for supporting the bill. Advocates point out, though, kids are more likely to be harmed by gun violence than by a drag queen. Local elections are happening across the state next month. If you're not registered to vote, you're running out of time. The deadline's tomorrow, April 6th. To find out if you're registered, visit the Texas Secretary of State website. You do have to be a U.S. citizen, obviously, at least 18 by Election Day, and a resident of the county where you're trying to vote. Election Day is May 6th. New this morning, family and friends sang their final goodbyes to a Fort Hood soldier found dead on post. This is the funeral service for Army Private Ana Bazaldua Ruiz, the young woman receiving full military honors in Tuesday's ceremony in Long Beach, California. The 20-year-old serving as a combat engineer with the 1st Cavalry Division at Fort Hood, where she was found dead. Her family claims she was the victim of sexual harassment. The Army says foul play is not a factor. The family is now planning to take her ashes to Mexico, where her mother lives. The search is on for the shooter who killed a young man in Waco this week. Police say 24-year-old Zachary Hughes was killed Monday afternoon after getting into an argument. Officers found him and a woman shot near Bagby and Richter. He died in the hospital. This is the 4th murder in Waco this year. We're going to turn now to the weather this morning with this storm rolling into our area. It's really coming down, Josh.
Yeah, really coming down. The good news is it's not severe, though we have had some limbs down in parts of Hill County near Aquila and also power outages in Hill and Bosque County, especially near Laguna Park. Still not at severe limits at this time, which is good news. We are having some heavy rain now, still on the south side of Hill County, moving down into McClellan County, west, Waco, Bruceville, Eddy, Lorena, you're getting some heavy rain, especially here in the city of Waco. Look at the moderate to heavy rain coming down all over the place, so need to give yourself some extra time on that morning commute. A little stronger over Bell County. We're getting some lightning now here in Belton. Wouldn't surprise me if we have a little bit of pea-sized hail there near Belton as well, as that heavy rain now working into Temple too. Notice that thin line going out ahead of it. That's cutting us off from the warm air, so that will keep the storms from turning severe here as we go through the morning. Still, this line of thunderstorms will continue to work east. Groesbeck at 7:28, Cameron at 7:55. Could be rolling into Franklin by 8:31, Bryan College Station by around 9 o'clock. You can see what it's done here in Waco with the Clark Roofing Cam, giving you a view of that rain that's falling. The wet roadways, need to give yourself some extra time on that morning commute. It's also much cooler, feels like the 50s. Now, there is a threat, 1 or 2 of these turn strong, but I think that severe threat has really gone down. We were watching our northern counties for that best threat, and that's where we've seen the reports so far. So it looks like that is where the storms were the strongest. Thankfully, though, I think they'll get weaker as we go through the morning. They move on to our eastern counties. We'll watch them, we'll track them, but as we get past around lunchtime, I think it's all out of here. for most of Central Texas. North winds continue behind it. That brings in drier air. Will be cooler today, close to 70 for highs. And then as we get into tomorrow and Friday, we'll really see these rain chances tick up. Could have some multi-inch rainfall totals built in here across Central Texas. And even with that, could be talking about some heavier rain at some points, especially down the south. A lot of rain coming to the coast. Hopefully we'll get some of that working in here. 60 to 70% chances of rain through Friday. We're quiet for the weekend. That's the good news. And then close to the upper 70s, lower 80s as we head on into next week, Joe.
All right. Thanks so much for starting your day with us here on Good Morning Texas. GMA's next. We're coming back here at 11 a.m. We hope to see you then.